She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, back on a Friday, and thank God it's the last Friday of February. Can't wait to get out of this month. Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 166. Today is February 28th, 2025. And Joe, on my way home today, we're going to push it back to 2011. You, me, the Bull, Anthony Torres, and Francisco, we were up in Vernon, and we go to a turf field, and we play 2-on-2 tackle football. It's beautiful outside. I was like, I had to start the show like that because I was thinking of us just fucking being stupid high schoolers, just tackling each other. No one was in the field. But, man, welcome in, kid. How you doing?
Doing good, yeah.
You remember that, though?
Yeah, I do. I just didn't know it was like today. It's actually my dog's birthday as well, so I guess we have a pretty historic date on our hand. The last day of February. Man, BKFC Fight Night is the only other event that I really saw that's worth any viewership this weekend. That's going to be tomorrow night at 9. So, as a matter of fact, I think they're doing it tonight at 9 because you're taking over 10 seconds left with Karate Combat. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that is correct. We're switching up a little bit now, your kid.
Hey.
I love it. By the way, how old is Blue? 3?
Well, technically, he was a leap year dog, so he hasn't even reached his second birthday, if that makes sense to you. You know what I'm saying? Born in 2020. His first birthday was the 2024 last year. So, yes, granted, he is 5. He's only had one official birthday. Does that make sense?
Wow.
To you?
Yeah, no.
The 29th is his actual birthday, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I always get confused with the leap year dogs or leap year birthdays in general.
Yeah, like someone could say, oh, well, I'm only 4 years old. And you're like, wait a minute, you're 16. I'm only 5 years old. You're 20 years old.
Well, Joe, we have a great episode for everyone today. We'll recap very interesting UFC Seattle. We'll talk about the last Crescenta as well. UFC Vegas back in the desert. UFC Vegas 103. What a card. I mean, you picked a great weekend to go to a concert, kid. You're not missing much. We got a big boxing fight over here in the East Coast in Brooklyn. Tank Davis against Lamont Roach. And then we'll head in the 51st state on the border. We got Elimination Chamber in Toronto. Cannot wait for that. I think that is the biggest thing going down this weekend, at least in my eyes, going to be Elimination Chamber. Then we got some news, some fights that were announced over the weekend. And then Joey was right. I will actually be taking the helm and the wheel or the steering wheel of the ship for 10 seconds left. And we will head to Denver, Colorado for Karate Combat 53. Caio Borralho taking on Brandon Allen. A little more on that in just a little. But, kid, let's start in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. UFC Seattle. Main event, we'll start with Song Yadong defeats Henry Cejudo via technical decision. 29 times 28 times 2, 30-27. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I want to start here. Before we get into the fight, there needs to be a point taken. I'll come out and say it immediately. I think I know a lot of people, Henry rubs people the wrong way, but I feel kind of bad for Henry because now he has a loss and Jason Herzog is probably the best and most consistent referee, but the warning shouldn't come inside the octagon. The warning comes in the back room. He already had 2 warnings with the nut kick, and then after the 5 minutes, he's already coming out with his hands like this. I mean, it comes to a point. What are you going to look like? Not Paul Felder. What are you going to look like? Michael Bisping eventually later in your career? Like, you're going to lose an eye. And that instead of it becoming a loss, then you have a no contest or a draw at that point. Because if you look at the scorecards, I didn't think it was all that far apart, if I'm being honest. So. No. Did you think a point should have been taken, and what'd you think of that?
Yeah, but what sucks is that main event and the circumstances surrounding opens up a can of worms with basically everything else we've talked about. The referee, Jason Herzog, allowing the 4th round to register, talking about the decision, the eye pokes. We could have addressed it with the gloves. UFC comes out with these new gloves that don't address the eye poking issue, and then they completely recall it and go back to the original gloves.
And then look what we get.
should have maybe spent the money and gotten Trevor Whitman's gloves or renewed the Pride gloves. You own that. So, like I said, it opens up a can of worms there. And like I said, the outcome of the main event took away from the event in its entirety. UFC Seattle was a fantastic event that Seattle fans were clamoring for the past 5 to 6 years to have it back there. This was 7 straight finishes to start the card.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Fantastic card to watch from start to finish. That's why you watch the prelims for the UFC, where you see these rising stars come to where they are in the main event. Become the level of star that they are of Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong to main event, wherever it may be across the world. So I said it opens up a can of worms with the outcome of that. You feel bad for Henry, but he kind of sets himself up for us with the way he acts. The Courage Cane stick only works until it's not controversial. When this type of controversy, comes out, it's like the boy who cried wolf, right? We can't take him serious when it matters most. So it's unfortunate on his end. I do feel for him, but Song Yadong is a rising athlete in that division. He's had his ups and downs. It sucks that he got a win this way on his record, but you have a lot more to work with a young guy like Song Yadong in the matchmaking you can do for that. There's not much left in the tank for Henry Cejudo. It seems that he's in the twilight of his career. So it's unfortunate that this is what happened in his career. I think there's still more to come from Song Yadong in the future of his. But yes, a lot of controversy with all the questions we can answer surrounding the
Henry Cejudo obviously has a podcast with Kamaru Usman, and he had Jason Herzog. He shared a FaceTime with Jason Herzog regarding the officiation.
It was good. Two men having a discussion, though.
Yeah, and that's what you need to have in this day and age. Constructive criticism. He said, hey, listen, man, I really didn't like what you did, especially after he's coming out to finish the third round with his fingers pointed out. Herzog
maybe immediately stopped the action and
then took a point. Yes. And then I think Herzog said he admits that he probably should have taken a point. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but it doesn't look like they're gonna run it back. I mean, if you listen to Dana White on the post-fight conference, he's saying, "No, do you guys want to see that?" And I mean, I think they should.
Damned if you don't, as a referee, job as a referee, right? Don't step in and you get this end of it, but step in and get yourself involved, and you made the whole thing about you, right? So, damned if you do, damned if you don't, as a referee. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think there is. I know Dana White. I think actually, since returning to the pandemic and then him vacating and kind of retiring, I think he's not in a good stance with the UFC. That is Henry Cejudo. So I think he even admitted it. He doesn't really know where he stands with the UFC. Do you have an appetite for a rematch? Because I think it's unfinished business. If I'm being honest, if you take a point away, it's a draw right there through 3 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But as I discussed with the trajectory of their careers, the boss does weigh a lot with what he's going to say. And when you come out in an interview, it doesn't seem that the fans are going to be interested in that. And may we kind of get a little Stockholm syndrome as fans, right? If the UFC decides to go in a certain direction, we kind of forgive them and go along with what they're deciding. So I think that if they give Henry Cejudo maybe close to, if not a retirement match next, it's not going to be against Song Yadong. Song Yadong is going to get some other competition because, like I said, if we move past this a year from now, may forget the circumstances revolving around which Song Yadong got the dub. And, if he does get maybe 2 wins in a row by the end of 2025, he might be in the conversation for a title. So, like I said, 2 different ends of the career for these 2 guys. And it was just a lackluster finish for what was a rather exciting card.
I want to ask you, you've obviously seen and followed his career much more than I have, but I want to take you back to coming back from the pandemic, UFC 249 headline Ferguson Gaethje, where Dominic Cruz lost to Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, Henry beat him.
And that's May 9th. And then him retiring. The UFC doesn't like that. What do you think his relationship? And now he's come back and he's lost 3 in a row. 1 to Aljo, a top 5 bantamweight of all time. Merab, he's trying to break the barriers as well. And then Song Yadong, a really up-and-coming star. What do you think the relationship is with the UFC and Henry Cejudo right now?
Oh, man. Tumultuous, right?
Great word.
They've done right for him to start his career, giving him arguably the controversial win over Demetrius Johnson in the first place to get the flyweight belt, and then being very favorable to him to get both belts, right? Becoming the double champ status. But, it's always a case of what have you done for me lately? And, he seemed to have kind of been a maverick against the UFC in a lot of regards, not being as much as a company guy and speaking out against them, not necessarily against them, but just not being as favorable with his podcast, with his coaching. Sometimes, like I said, being that trailblazer, being that maverick and doing something new, might ruffle some feathers the wrong way. And who knows what the UFC brass thinking, but yes, I think they're a little down on him currently and not going to do him any favors.
I would agree with that. And as much as I think he kind of got screwed and they should run it back, I don't think they will. I think Song Yadong's probably going to move on. Henry Cejudo said if they don't run it back, he would love to fight Piotr Yan in May. He says it could. Triple C said it could be his final fight, but he would like one more and kind of he doesn't want to go out like this, which I think that's fair to say. He's a legend in the game. Can't go out like this.
No, it sucks, but damn, I mean, look what they're doing to Jose Aldo. He's fighting Ayman Sahabi, right? And what would be his retirement fight, I think. Is that what we're doing?
And he's a huge favorite too.
I hate to be saying it if I'm breaking any news there to jump ahead, but it's what it seems like. UFC's got to balance a lot of the personal relationships they have with cold hard business. So.
All right, and then let's see, co-main event. We hit on that. Anthony Hernandez via decision. I mean, Brandon Allen, tough.
Is the matchup between them and Karate Combat a pit grappling?
Yeah,
match?
Pit grappling.
Okay,
yes.
I was gonna say no way the UFC's letting Kyle Bahayo and Brandon Allen just chuck leather without takedowns in the pit. So
that'd be sick.
I do expect a good grappling match. Brandon Allen is very competent, but when you're going up against an absolute stud, which we saw it the first time around. We knew exactly what we're expecting with this rematch, even though it's not in the organization. We've seen this fight before, and Anthony fucking Hernandez, he's just on a roll right now. I don't think there's much stopping him besides, maybe that title shot, whoever's going to be there when he gets there. I think they may argue that he needs one more fight before said title shot. So let's see. I don't necessarily know what to think, but
I think he needs two. He won.
That's fair.
He did move up into the top 10. He is now the 9th middleweight in the world. But I know you were saying maybe Nasruddin Imavov, but I think that would be a very big step up for him because look at the first round. I mean,
is that fair for Imavov as well?
No, it's not fair for him either. So I don't know. I think this is a good test. This we'll see this weekend. I know it's just grappling, but we'll see. It's a good match. See if it's a good step up. Maybe for Bahayo. Maybe they could run it because he doesn't have a fight. Anthony Hernandez, I think it's a good litmus test. And you're only jumping up 3 rankings. Jared Cannonier, he's coming off a fight. Marvin Vettori has a fight in a few weeks. I like that. I think one more fight, and then you enter the top 5. Now you're into really some big killers.
Yeah, uncharted territory. That's right.
But yeah, we do hit the plus 115 on via decision as well. I think his biggest thing that the dark horse in this is his cardio. I mean, he's just a dog in there for 3 rounds, and he just kind of outlasts you, especially Brandon Allen, who, I mean, he just can't catch a break with this guy. That's 2 losses.
Those guys, they're the trouble ones, the ones that get better as the fight gets later in the rounds. So.
How about fucking Rob Font, baby?
Fight of the night robbery, if you ask me.
Yo, I agree. It was definitely, but give it up for the kid. Masameto, I mean, the kid's 23 years old, and for him to come out, step up on short notice and give his all. I mean, Rob Font is just a fucking beast, but to give him, the kid's going to be good. Masameto should not hang his head. I'm sure he got paid handsomely for stepping in, but Rob Font was definitely the better striker in this fight.
Besides, Mansour Abdul Malik, who may mention a little bit, but honestly, it's not the year to be backing any undefeated fighters. I think maybe 1 or 2 other guys coming into 2025 with their O's still intact have kept them. It seems that if you have a 0 in 2025, get ready to lose it. So, be very wary about that when looking at the odds, looking at who you're going to be putting your hard-earned money on. But John Matsumoto is a really good fighter.
Yeah, he is.
Rob Font, man, been there. He's fought main events before, and here he is at a featured bout. He could have fought for 5 rounds if they needed to. So, that would have been an entertaining fight if it were to go that far. I think John Matsumoto has it in him. So this is a great, step up in level competition for him. This, I think, can only do better for John Matsumoto. I know I might be, not speaking too highly of Rob Font, but with his experience and, like I said, the level of fighter he is, this was like his fight to lose. It was John Matsumoto's point to prove against him. So Rob Font did his job, and he came out looking like a professional. Like what is it, New England Cartel, right?
Yeah, but he does train up there in TriStar up in Montreal. A lot of those New England guys training up there. Calvin Kattar, Rob Font now.
I guess it might be an easy trip.
He trained
right?
up there.
Where is it? It's like outside of Toronto, or is it in Toronto, or is it Montreal?
Montreal. Amin Sahabi, his brother.
For us. Yeah, of course. But I'm just thinking, like, Montreal, that's not that quick of a drive, isn't it? From
it's a drive. I mean, from us to Montreal, I think it's like a 6-7 hour drive. So it's not terrible, but
hey, there's maybe a little
doable
51st state connection going on there.
Oh, absolutely, kid. But yeah, I think Lord Silva. I mean, he was just pointing to the guy. I mean, this guy is just a fucking menace. The only loss I got, he's just a menace, man. He really is. He's a dark horse. I mean, those 4 guys in the Fighting Nerds are like undefeated right now, and it's just what they got going on is extremely special.
The call too. Shout out to Brendan Fitzgerald. Like the play-by-play for that knockout was fantastic. Like, if you really just sit in and listen, like, he called it out perfect to a beat. Like, so that's why if you didn't even have a chance to see it with your own 2 eyes, you missed it because you ran to I don't know why you're not locked into a Lord Silva fight, but you have some chips or something, you would have had it played out perfectly in your head due to Brendan Fitzgerald. So shout out.
Very underrated commentator. Very underrated.
I think he does a great job.
I do too. But who got fight of the night was Julius Walker versus Menfield. Lonzo Menfield. He does get the split decision. A very close fight. I thought they got it right, though. I think Alonzo did enough later in the fight.
That's the argument. These 2 guys, could knock each other out at any moment, and you could say, that's fight of the night, but it was just a lot more sloppier than we talked about that Rob Font and John Matsumoto fight. More technical, guys who are a lot smaller be able to throw at certain speeds and just keep up with that level of consistency. Yeah, I didn't think you saw that level of fight. I could understand maybe if we ended on the Julius Walker and Alonzo Menfield fight and like the, recency bias saying, okay, that was the last fight I saw, they deserve fight of the night. But having Rob Font do that with John Matsumoto after the fact, I don't know how they didn't win fight of the night.
Blood fucking spewing everywhere in the octagon. I love it. To start them, or to end the prelims, the future prelim, Ian Kutalabe gets a submission in the very first round. And shout out Kutalabe. After this, he signed his next bout agreement, and he got a new contract right after that as well. So
awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy.
He's an OG. I don't fucking care. They're asking, who do you want? I don't care. I'm stuck. He was going crazy, bro.
Remind me next time to back Andre Fili, and then we fade him the next time because he's
next time he's coming out like an absolute war horse. The bro is not losing his next fight out.
Oh my god! But other than that, I thought, like you said, the first couple fights ended in KO, TKO, and like the first or second round as well. So shout out Ricky Simone as well. What a fucking fight that was.
In front of his backyard. Woo! Yeah. Bro.
I mean, Seattle, the crowd was electric. It was really good. I enjoyed UFC
Seattle. One of the loudest I heard.
What about the 12th man when they're in Seattle?
That's right. They're living up to their expectations being that loud.
Yeah, 3-1. Only one I don't get was the Lord Silva one, Silva. But other than that, 3-1. We cashed Rob Font. We cashed the Song Yadong and over 2.5 rounds, and we get Anthony Hernandez via decision. So a nice 3-1 on the night. How'd you do?
Yeah, brother. I give my total. We'll mention immediately the last crescendo after, but overall it was 8-11-1. So that included 5-4 in straight picks, 1-5-1 in props. So I got a lock in there. Totals were even at 1-1. No leans. So I got a couple for you this weekend. 1-0 on the parlay. So that hit, and I missed on 10 seconds left. So yeah, I thought 2 good events from the UFC to the boxing.
Yeah. And let's go over to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The last crescendo. Dmitry Bivol defeats Arthur Beterbiev via majority decision, 114-114, 116.
I think they got it right off the rip.
and 115, 113. I thought Dimitri Bivol won the first one, and he definitely won the second one. I thought this fight was better than the first one. I scored at 115, 113. I thought he did enough in between those rounds. I thought he won 7-8 rounds of it, but definitely the better fighter.
Yeah. I was scared that they could have had two judges saw it even down the pipe for Artur Beterbiev, and we would have had a majority draw. That's what I was fearful of. But yeah, I agree with the two judges, seeing how Bivol would have taken an extra round or two out of that fight. Beterbiev was coming in hard, but he just wasn't landing as significantly as it was in the first fight. And the way Bivol performed with the broken hand, we still don't have an answer whether or not he broke his right hand, and still throwing shots with it, and took control of the whole ring with just the jab. Bivol won that fight wholeheartedly.
And to take all the belts, undisputed now at light heavyweight, I mean, amazing. I don't want to see a trilogy, though. I know a lot of people are like, oh, these two are so close. Let's run it one back.
Is this what I'm hearing? Is this just like NBL Centel, where they're just making up and hearing the reactions of all this, that they made it mandatory for him to defend against David Benavidez? Is that something?
That's the fight I want to see, though.
Is that
I don't know. I don't know.
They're saying that they're forcing Bivol's camp's hand to defend it against Benavidez, and not, like you said, the trilogy against Beterbiev. And I would like that. I would like to see a little change.
Fresh. We need a fresh opponent. We've seen this twice, and I agree. They are very razor-thin, close fights, going down to about, like you said, 2 rounds, 1 round, if that.
Maybe we'll get it again, though. You know what I'm saying?
And
if they fought 10 times, we might see this razor-close decision every single time.
Yeah, so hopefully we do see a new fight with Benavidez. Shout out Joseph Parker, the big oos, man, defeating Martin Bracoli, second round.
You got to shout out Martin Bracoli too, man. Yeah. Traveling all that, to get knocked out. Come on, man. They better paid him well.
Oh no, they definitely did. I mean, if you listen to Josh Padley, they gave His Excellency gave him a house, and now he could retire as an electrician. He doesn't have to do that again. So they definitely paid Martin Bracoli very well. But shout out Brick City's own baby, Shakur Stevenson. He does get the 9th round.
The only time we deny him getting a knockout. Come on.
I know, and then he does. Is his hand okay? Did you see it?
Well, I think, I think you take enough punishment, you throw enough punches. I mean, there's a point that your hand breaks. It's not going to be the same. It's brittle at that point. Floyd dealt with it his entirety of his career. Shakur might be good now, but who knows if he can break it just like Bivol did in the first round of a fight. It could happen.
I think that's the problem. Shakur only fights 2 years or twice a year or once a year because of his hands are brittle. And that's no disrespect, but it's just his hands break a lot. So very unfortunate, but yeah, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Virgil Ortiz, he gets a decision.
Very crafty in there.
Yeah, unanimous decision, 117-11, and then 115-113 times 2. Jersey Zone, Zhilei Zhang. He knocked him down early, kid. I thought he had it.
Didn't capitalize, but that's Ajit Caballero for you. He got knocked down.
Legit.
In his previous 2 fights, he got knocked down. I think he needs to not get knocked down, so he wakes up and he just turns it on.
People are advocating for him to get a shot against Usyk.
Dubois.
Oh, they said Usyk.
They skipped Dubois, go right to Usyk. So
Dubois
just sitting with a belt.
What are we forgetting? Wait, hold up. I'm not an idiot. What about Joseph Parker? Yes. Why are we forgetting about Joseph Parker? He's the one who showed up and made weight and fought. How is Dubois getting the fight?
I think you give Parker the shot. I do. I think you would do more for him holding his ground. And like I said, credit to Bracoli for keeping, showing face and keeping the card alive. But yeah, I think Dubois losing out and, missing the fight, he would have to fight Ajit Caballero. So
or give him to AJ.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like they're gonna fuck Joseph Parker though. They're going to, because they don't want to see that.
Before. I feel like they say he's not a draw, but if you ask the boxing world who they respect, a lot of people fear Joseph Parker a lot. He's very respected in that world.
Yeah, it's a shame. I feel I have a bad feeling about this. And how do you? I don't
Maybe
know.
It can build more momentum towards his story, though. Like denying a guy so many times at a certain point.
Like Bully B.
So there you go.
Like my boy Bully B. But overall, how did you do? I do go 1-2 in boxing. We do hit on Dimitri Bivol, but Shakur Stevenson via decision doesn't hit, and Zhilei Zhang does not hit as well. So 1-2 in boxing.
I actually went right down the middle in boxing. So it was 3-3-1 because the Hamza Shiraz fight, and then a little controversy surrounding that. Turki Al-Sheikh getting involved, like telling him the scorecard.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know, but I feel like maybe that weren't told it. You're just trying to get your fighter motivated because it was a little boring.
Do you think he looked at the scorecards?
I do. I do. He's Turki Al-Sheikh, but it's even if he didn't, you know what I mean? It's his fighter, right? And so he trying to just light a fire under him, and to he was not really putting his pedal down to push the pace against Carlos Adames. So like I said, they were just trying anything to kind of get him ignited to win that, because he could have won it. Obviously he was ahead going into the last 2 rounds, and the fact is he gave it away. So yeah, I went 3-3-1 for the last crescendo.
Yeah, that was crazy. I saw him. I was like, Joe, into myself, I was like, I've never seen that. And him, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's breaking barriers. He could do anything he wants. He's the one putting up all this money. He could do anything he fucking wants, I feel like. But yeah, no, I thought that was insane. I never heard of that or seen it until over the weekend. I was like, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, he looked at the cards, right?
Yeah.
And who's going to say anything to him?
No, everyone's just going to look the other way. Like, but I feel like he, as we should see with most, people with that amount of power in this 20 year of our Lord 2025, we should be there for one another. I don't think you should be using your power for anything other than good. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's a rightful man, and I feel like that won't be happening to ruining everything he's built. You know what I mean? I feel like he's gonna be legit, if you were, for lack of a
there's a new boxing company coming soon from TKO. Watch out, Dana might get involved too. And I never know, kid. Never fucking know. But all right, kid. Thank you. That was the weekend that was. Before we get to UFC Vegas 103, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick. Just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or a new flavor, coconut, watching the Elimination Chamber, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, live it up. Got some new Vivas on the way. Little FYI, got some new Vivas on the way.
Limoncello.
Yep, the limoncello. It's beautiful.
I heard it's
colors.
Delicious.
Can't wait. Bart Scott. All right, kid, let's go out to the desert. Beautiful flyweight main event in the desert at the Apex. Fully renovated Apex, I've heard. Beautiful in there.
More seating?
Hopefully. I heard the tickets are actually insane to get to see a Apex card. They're like $700. No. It's insane.
Do I have to leave after one fight?
Yeah, maybe. You know who doesn't have to leave? Max Crosby. He's like at every fight.
Bro has his own little chair, his own little booth. He's got his own concession. It's a Max Crosby corner.
Not the best card. I'll say that. I mean, it has some names. I think it could be sneaky entertaining, but other than that, couple fights, like you said, called off already, unfortunately. But Charles Johnson is on the card. Our girl Andre KGB Lee is on it. Yeah. Austin Lane, Danny Barlow, left-handed guy. We got Esteban Ribovic coming off fight of the year,
and then also that fight with Haqparast, arguably fight of the night. For sure.
So. Like I said, the main event in the flyweight, Manel Kape, who I think could be a champion in this weight class, and the co-main event, you got Julian Marquez against Cody Brundage. I mean, what are we doing here?
He's only one of 79 fighters with 3 different submission finishes in UFC history. So they are
wow. Now, is this a situation, real quick, before we get to the picks? If say it's a lackluster co-main event, is this a situation where they could both be cut?
Surprisingly enough, I don't think either guy is on the last fight of their contract. I just think their placement is interesting. Yeah, the placement is very interesting. Once he fumbled the bag with Miley Cyrus, I
was just gonna say he fumbled it.
I'm sorry, Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, what a name though! Great name, Cuban Missile Crisis. But Joe, what do you got, kid?
Yeah, brother. As you mentioned, one of the fights that missed, I don't know if it was due to one party getting sick or if it was a missed weight battle, but the Montana De La Rosa, Luana Carolina fight is off. I was going to kind of lean with the dog with Montana De La Rosa. I found her good in that spot, so unfortunately we won't see that. But you did mention Charles Energy Johnson. He's minus 120 in the flyweight division, taking on Ramazan Tamarov at plus 110. Look, I think this is going to be an exciting fight. And, most of the time with some early fights and, early on the card and also the lighter weight guys, especially sometimes with the women, it's harder to see a finish. But I was expecting a lot in the early part here. So I expect these two. I think Tamarov does have some finishing capability. And I think Charles Johnson is going to want to get a win back. So I think both of these guys are going to come out hot. I'm going to go the under 2.5 rounds at plus 250. I don't know how the books got past the books down there. I think it should be a lot less and a little more likely if you look at the resume of these two guys, they do have a lot of finishes. So could be exciting if it hits the mats. Let's see what happens on the feet. I'm going to officially lean here as well. I'm going to lean the dog. Like I said, Tamarov, as Charles Johnson's trying to get one back. Sometimes you got to go with the streaks and go where the momentum's at. So I'm going to take my first official lean in a week and go with Tamarov to start us off. So you did mention the KGB, Andrea Lee at plus 180. Made that rhyme. How you doing? JJ Aldris is who her opponent is minus 195 favorite. I want to stay away from this fight because I got to get my heart out of betting KGB Lee. Otherwise, what am I doing here? So I am not touching this fight at all. No way. Can't do it. It hurts me every time. My heart gets torn out every time I bet KGB Lee and I lose. It's a 4 or 5 times consecutively now. When will I learn? Let's go to the featherweight division. Lucas Almeida is plus 185. He's taking on Danny Silva at minus 200. I think he's even swelled up even more. So bets are coming on a Danny Silva, but I don't know if you can back a side in this one with both being inconsistent. Danny Silva only has the one loss, but just coming in as a new face, it's hard to back a new guy like that being a favorite. We've seen this time and time again. Those favorites coming in, man, sometimes the lights are too bright, even in the warehouse of the Apex. So may there be a finish in here. Jiu-jitsu may be at an all-time high. Lucas Almeida, he is tricky. He does have the card up his sleeve. Like I said, maybe with the debuting Silva, he comes out and starches him because Lucas Almeida is susceptible defensively. I like to take another under 2.5 rounds at minus 120. Even though we're, like I said, at a lower weight class, the books are seeing it that this could end inside the distance. So yeah, under 2.5 rounds at minus 120. And the third fight of the evening now, a lot of different bout order because we missed the next fight, which was the bantamweight fight between Douglas Silva de Andrade at plus 270, taking on John Sexy Mexi Castaneda. We will not be hearing his name announced because that fight got called off. So go right into the featherweight division here. Ricardo Ramos plus 360, taking on Chepe Mariscal at minus 400. And 3 in a row. Are we going to do 3 in a row here? Yes, I'm going under the 2.5 rounds at minus 130. Ricardo Ramos could be live in this. Look at the level of competition. Chepe Mariscal, he been getting by the skin of his teeth, the arm injury, the split decision victory. I think Chepe Mariscal is a grinder and he can grind you out. And you can see in plenty of moments in this fight, he can hurt you and close the show. But I do think Ricardo Ramos is live here. He does have that finishing ability. He's very explosive. You've seen it in his past. He come out of nowhere and get a first round finish, whether it's striking or if it's with the submission game. So maybe Chepe Mariscal could also grind Ricardo Ramos to a halt. I'm going to go under 2.5 rounds at minus 130. I'm going to go with the books. They're slightly favorited, but they're still playable. Like I said, the minus 120 and the minus 130 is normally what you see. That plus 250 we took at the first one, we might be robbing the books there. So let's hopefully we hit on all those totals. So next fight here. Now, am I wrong for saying that this is the main event of the prelims?
Yes, Austin Lane.
Austin Lane at plus 425 in the heavyweight division, taking on newcomer from the Dana White Contender Series, Mario Pinto. He is minus 510. I know, right? I just explained how to approach the Danny Silva fight, right? A newcomer coming into the UFC, but I do like Mario Pinto heavyweight division, so volatile. Austin Lane, we have seen him get knocked unconscious before. I do think that Mario Pinto is a massive guy. The size may speak for itself. And though it may be a little chalky, going to be taking Pinto here with the KO TKO at minus 137 because he is a first leg of a 2-leg parlay. I had a couple more parlays cooking for this weekend, but with all the fights being called out, they all dissolved. So I only have one. And that's the first start. Mario Pinto via KO TKO at minus 137, which leads us right into the next fight at the welterweight division. Started the main card for UFC Vegas 103. Left-handed God. Got to take him straight up. I don't even mention Sam Patterson. I mean, plus 265. Do people think he's live? I think he's got a guillotine on his arsenal. He's got the length to maybe match up with Danny Barlow, but the difference is the power. Danny Barlow is going to have a power advantage, I think, maybe 2 or 3, 4 times more than Sam Patterson. I think if he can get past the defense once, past the guard, Danny Barlow will knock him out. So give me the left-handed guy via KO TKO, and he'll cap that 2-leg parlay, minus 133 straight up. And with the 2 plays, minus 133 and the Mario Pinto, minus 137 gives you plus 203 for that 2-leg prop parlay. Let's do it there. So, D-Rock, I want to get you involved. It's been quite a while to hear from you. Featherweight division. French's own William Gomez is minus 185, taking Haider Amil at plus 175. I want to hear your side.
Yeah, when I saw this matchup, I really thought the odds were going to be the other way around. I thought Haider would probably be favored over William Gomez. Seems the sports books are giving a little too much credit to William Gomez over that, maybe a split decision, lucky win over Burrito. I thought he lost that fight, but I think Haider's the better fighter. I think he could put on a very tough pace that William Gomez can't for 3 rounds. He's probably going to exhaust him. And I just think Haider's going to do well closing the distance. He's going to land more striking, and I think he has more of the knockout power. So plus 165. Give me the dog. I'm starting with plus money, kid.
Hey, I like it. We've seen him, what tooth and nail, I think, in the Dana White Contender Series, and he got that knockout finish, Haider Amil. But, man, I'm looking back what I just made my decisions with the knockout parlay. Both undefeated guys, as I mentioned, in 2025, not a year to be back in the undefeated dude. So I am taking a chance with that parlay I just made, but I won't be taking a chance with you, my friend. I am fading you. May the best man win. I'm taking William Gomez straight up. And that is all I have to say about that. Let's go along into the lightweight division. Nasrat Haqparast is a massive dog in the spot and arguably very live, taking on Esteban Ribovic at minus 242. Yeah, reason being is Haqparast likes to throw. He's taken some big shots in his career, and he stood and banged with the best of them. I do have an official lean because it is very chalky. I do think Esteban Ribovic is a Coliseum fighter. He should not be fighting at the Apex. He should be in front of the crowd at the pay-per-view because of just how exciting of a fighter he is. But with not knowing which way to lean, I do think he's the right side. So I'm going to officially lean with Esteban Ribovic on the money line just because I do think I expect more from him in the future of his career. Nasrat Haqparast, though, he's a really good fighter.
Yeah, Esteban Ribovic, the Argentine, he's proved he can fight at a crazy pace as well. He has power, his strikes, and I think he gets better as the fight goes on. Haqparast, he's a very dangerous fighter, I think, in the stand-up. But if you put him on his back, I just don't think he's really that much of a threat. I'm going to take Ribovic on the money line, and I'm also going to take, it's the same game parlay to get because he's just a massive favorite. Yeah. I'm going to take Esteban Ribovic money line and the fight to start round 3, get it down to minus 126 just to get a better price. I like that. I think Haqparast is tough enough to go to the 3rd round at least, and then Esteban could win however which way he wants. But yeah, same game parlay, Esteban Ribovic money line and the fight to start round 3 at minus 1.
You kind of inspired me here, D-Rock, because I know of a certain bet you can see, and no free shout outs, but FanDuel does this. If you do the alternate, bet, I think on the I'm trying to see on the round here. I'm pretty sure you can get, if you like that bet, man, you could probably get some juice worth the squeeze with Ribovic, which would be the 3rd round finish for him to win or by decision. I think if he could win in the 3rd round or by decision, you get maybe some plus money out of that. I just can't seem to find it right now. I feel pressure to go ahead and get you there. But yeah, brother, I think that's just a little way that a lot of our people listening in could go ahead and make some money. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, prop third round finish or decision for Ribovic because we're on the same side. Yep. So let's go to the co-main event. I think I'm alone on this one. Not many people want to even get involved within a fight like this, and people are arguing that this shouldn't even be the co-main event of the evening. Middleweight division, Cody Brundage, goodness gracious, plus 115, taking on Julian Marquez at minus 118. As regretfully as it may be, I'm going to be taking the Cuban Missile Crisis on the money line.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to be betting Cody Brundage here? You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what I have to say about that as well. I mean, if it hits the mat, I think we might see just like two, wet fish flopping around. You know what I mean? On the feet, I don't think we're going to see too much skill because I think the game for these guys is wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But you know how to cap it with two grapplers. We can get a very stand-up battle where two bad gas tanks get into the third round. We're just going to see slop on the feet. So not very excited to do it. But, Julian Marquez, like I said, only one of 79 fighters to have 3 different submissions in UFC history. They are reaching with that one, but I'm going to take him. He might be the right side. So that's what I got for the co-main event. And that'll do us for UFC Vegas 103 as we've reached the main event. In the flyweight division, man, Manel Kape has been here. Is minus 210. He was expecting to face Brandon Royval. Am I correct?
Yes,
right?
sir.
And also Almabayev stepped in on short notice. So shout out Kazakhstan's own at plus 197. I do think he's very live here. And I'm going to be taking him. I'm going to tell you my bet. Right also Almabayev. I think Manel Kape, as great as a striker as he has, he does struggle with some good wrestlers. He struggles with guys that know what they're doing on the ground. If it hits there, he does have a little bit of a disadvantage. He just has a great advantage on the feet. So if there's scrambles, if there's a lot of that, I look at the 7 losses of Manel Kape and I see how he's lost them. I feel like this is a losable fight. So I do have my money back on the short minute replacement with Asu Almabayev. I think he can also stand up with him too, but like I said, the X factor, as I'm always biased towards, is the grappling, and that's what also Almabayev will have the advantage in. So with more ways to win, you could take a straight up on the money line, but flyweight division makes me think this goes to the judges. Give me Almabayev via decision at plus 275.
Now, I agree with part of it going to decision because the way I played the Esteban Ribovic fight and Hasparak is the same way I'm going to play this main event. I'm going to do a 2-legger same game parlay. I'm going to take Manel Kape on the money line and fight to start round 4 at plus 115.
Only round 4 I like.
And like I said earlier in the episode, I really think Kape has all the skills to be the future champ, but he needs to stay locked in and he can't let outside factors really dictate him and get emotional. I really feel like, but he needs to keep this fight standing. I think that is what you were saying as well. If he can fend off Almabayev's takedowns and kind of dictate the pace, I think he should do enough to get his hand raised. It should go all 5 rounds. And maybe earn him. Hey, if he gets a knockout and he ends Almabayev, maybe he can earn himself a shot after Kai Kara-France against Pantoja. We'll see. I think he is 1 fight or 2 fights away, but he's right there. I think he could be champion one day, but Almabayev is the better grappler. And if he gets this fight on the ground, I do worry a little bit, but he got to fend off those takedowns, dictate the pace, keep the distance, and then just have it to be a striking match. And I think you could win this fight. So give me Manel Kape on the money line plus fight to start round 4 at plus 115.
Yes, sir. And I'll do it for UFC Vegas 103. We made it past 100 and we're already 3 events past that. I mean, time's a thief, man. Time is flying. But I mean, after this weekend, full steam ahead, right? UFC pay-per-view next week, back in Vegas, Poatan, Mago. Yeah, we're ready.
I was actually just looking. I don't know if it's on this pad, but I was looking. I think it's the pad upstairs, but not doing good with our futures so far. I'll tell you that. One vacated for me.
I was trying to do. I just didn't see how. They could get like Ilya up there to the lightweight division. So man, I did have that thought that putting Ilya as lightweight champ would have been a very good bet, but I mean he would have to get past Islam. Islam is not an easy test for anybody. So
no, and I took Islam to be my champ at the end of the year, so I
had Islam as the welterweight champ, so I don't know if that's even happening.
Oh man, but one thing that could be locked in: Magomed Ankalaev, or not. It's against Poatan. We will see, but that goes down at the T-Mobile Arena next week. All right, kid, let's come over here. We were on the West Coast. Let's come to the East Coast a little bit. Brooklyn, let's go. Tank Davis fighting this weekend at the Barclay. Why is the Barclay getting all these boxing fights? We saw Tank Davis. We saw Ryan Garcia and
roots run deep in Brooklyn with the boxing world. MSG, the Mecca. Yeah, I mean, we get fights in New York City. It's gonna have
it's usually at the theater. It's not at Madison Square Garden. That's the problem.
But big fights, when they're there, they sell out. So maybe just for now, it's not as big to get to MSG. But right now in Brooklyn, they're doing a good job with ticket sales. So they're allowing the fights to go there. That's for sure.
Let's go to Brooklyn. Gervonta Davis against Lamont Roach. Gervonta Davis, huge favorite. 16-1. He's a favorite. You could get plus 900, plus 1,000, 10-1 with Lamont Roach.
I do think he's the right side.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, but this definitely, we were talking about, this is probably the best lightweight class in the world. I mean, you got Shakur Stevenson, you got Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, and
Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, like you said, Keyshawn Davis now.
And Lomachenko. No, I'm talking about the four champs.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, fair.
So I mean, this could set up a blockbuster match between either Shakur, maybe he just come off a nice TKO win, maybe Keyshawn Davis signed the fucking contract. We'll see. But he has to get past Lamont Roach. And let's be honest. I know he's a huge underdog, but he is 25-5-1. He's competent. And he became a 2-weight world champion. But kid, I'll pass it on to you because I'm interested to see what you like for this fight.
I mean, he's got knockout power. You know what I mean? He's really quick. Inside, you're just cutting angles, and he's got good footwork. But man, going back to maybe a couple of picks I made, and the one thing that translates across these combat sports, as we just mentioned with Poatan, is the power. The power is the biggest factor in this one. I think in certain exchanges, if Lamont Roach is down on his guard, or even if he's a little too high and he hesitates to get that body shot blocked, Gervonta Davis is known to hunt the body. And that's what I like about Tank Davis a lot, is that he isn't afraid to go there. He says he'll hurt you on the body, and if it opens up top, he'll knock you out there too. But you've seen in the past, body shots, solar plex shots, liver shots. I mean, Tank Davis has an arsenal of weapons, and it's just how bad he's going to hurt you when he lands. That's the key here. So I do like Lamont Roach a lot, but the play for me is Gervonta Davis. I got to take him here to get value out of him, as we talked about with how competent Lamont Roach is. He gone to decision a lot, so you do think he's capable of there. It's hard for me to see Tank Davis going to the judges, though. I just think that Lamont Roach is going to get into the later rounds. It's up for Tank Davis to close the show. So, man, super chalky to take him TKO straight up, and it's really not even worth it to take him with the decision. So I found a play for me that I like. Tank Davis to win in rounds 10 through 12, plus 300. Late knockout. Lamont Roach may get knocked down earlier in that, but I do think he'll get it to the last 3 rounds of the fight. And then it could be anybody's fight there. Maybe Lamont Roach could get Tank Davis hurts, which we've never seen the likes of before. But I do see more of Tank Davis finding a way to hurt him late. And when the tank is down, you collect a nice body shot, you might not get up from it. So yeah, Tank to win in rounds 10 through 12 at plus 300. Best way I could squeeze the odds out of that.
I love it. I'm kind of on the same thing. I have a prop for you that I really like. Gervonta Davis over 1.5 knockdowns is at minus 110. Now, let's be honest. Lamont Roach is stepping up right here because he is the WBA super featherweight champion. He is stepping up in weight to face Davis for his lightweight title. But
another thing that favors him, as he's done in the past with rehydration clauses. Yes. And I mean, it's kind of the smart way, as his team is doing for him. May he be the one making the decisions? I don't know. But at the end of the day, they're doing what's best for their fighter.
100%. And I mean, Tank Davis, 30-0, 28 of those have come inside the distance. Shout out Isaiah Cruz, the only fighter who has managed to go the full 12 rounds with Tank Davis. And he was also the only man who managed to avoid getting a knockdown against Baltimore's own, baby. So obviously he's a huge favorite for a reason. Roach, he's only suffered one defeat in his career. He's never been stopped, but he hasn't faced Tank Davis either. So, I mean, the 30-year-old southpaw, he, unbeaten opponents in his last 4 fights. He scored 15 knockdowns in his last 7 fights. Like you said, Tank Davis, he carries such power, but, Lamont Roach is durable, but I don't think he's going to be able to survive a knockdown or 2 before he's finally beaten. So I agree. I'm going to take over 1.5 knockdowns from Tank Davis. That's at -110. And I took Gervonta Davis to win in rounds 7 through 12. That's at even money at +100 for everything, like Joe said. And it just seems more likely that Tank's going to get a stoppage in the second half of the fight rather than early on because, Lamont Roach, he is decent technician, and he has height, he has reach advantage in this matchup, obviously, but he does not have the power. So I do think he's going to get the stoppage later on in the fight. So give me Tank Davis to win in rounds 7 through 12 at +100.
I like both those bets a lot. That is the safer way to bet this, and I took the specific just to squeeze as much as I can because I like dog hunting. So yours is the more economical and smart way of approach it, and mine you just take a little more of a chance. Let's hope maybe we get a 10, 11, 12 round knockout and all of us will hit.
And all of us win. And he also gets knocked down a couple times before that.
I do expect it. Like you said, maybe not early part of finishing the fight, but I mean, it takes one power shot to get dropped from Tank Davis. So I could see that happening in the first 6, as you mentioned. We'll see the 7th and later with a finish.
Let's go all the way up to the 51st state, Toronto, Canada, to Elimination Chamber. This Saturday, we got a pair of WrestleMania title shots on the line. The winners of the men's and women Elimination Chamber will go on to WrestleMania 41 and a chance to capture the World Championship, baby. Let's fucking go. A lot of people, I know I was talking to you about that. A lot of people were criticizing Jey Uso to try to get the heavyweight champion Gunther and earn his title shot. So undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes was left out without a dance partner. Winner probably will face Cody Rhodes. And Joey, that is where we will start the men's elimination chamber. Wow. John Cena, CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, your boy Jake Paul, and Damian Priest.
You mean Logan Paul?
Was it? Oh my God, Logan Paul. I'm used to Jake Paul saying.
Hey, it's the transition from boxing to WWE.
Exactly.
So what do you expect?
Who do you got?
Oh man, just like that. I think Logan Paul is a really controversial pick to take, but you could see the brass wanting to go that direction.
Really?
You could see how they want to, prop him up, and having him against Cody Rhodes at that WrestleMania would sell. It definitely would, because you're getting a lot of casual viewers, social media influencers, and that whole crowd going involved. That's always going to be the case with Logan Paul, but I'm not picking Logan Paul. I do not think that he is going to be going for the title. Damian Priest is kind of hot right now, right? A lot of people say that he has a shot of, going for the title, but I think there maybe is more of a chance of him ruining the chances of Drew McIntyre, who's also in the mix. And I do think a popular pick to win the Elimination Chamber, but I'm not picking either of those guys. So now we're left with just CM Punk, John Cena, and Seth freaking Rollins. Now, Seth, there is some kind of a storyline to be made with Cody Rhodes. The winner of this is going for Cody Rhodes, right? We got John Cena's farewell tour. Man, I see there's more of a storyline for Roman Reigns to have a match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania than anything else. And so I don't think Seth will be going for the title. And I just see it, as I've been sticking with it time and time again. This farewell tour for John Cena isn't going to all be sunshine and rainbows. I think one part of the storyline to conclude is heavy-hearted between John Cena and CM Punk. So I think there'll be the last 2 left in the Elimination Chamber, and CM Punk will eliminate John Cena to kind of dash the dreams currently. But I still have a wild card out there that we do get. John Cena proving himself later down the line. to get involved with that championship match of Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, and we see a triple threat. But my winner of the men's elimination chamber is CM Punk.
Never was a fan of triple threats. I think they're so fucking whack, in my opinion.
It's hard because you can't keep the entertainment going with all three guys.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going with the best to ever do it. CM Punk, Chicago's own. I think there's a lot of drama actually heading into this match, but I just think it's going to come down to, like you said, those two, John Cena and CM Punk. Cena's quote unquote retirement tour has kind of been disappointing, if you ask me, unless, he's really not on TV all that much. There's no reason to strap the biggest match of the year right on his back. Punk and Rhodes, they have that confrontation, kind of really exciting confrontation as well. So I think Punk does edge out Cena for the pick. Nobody really was calling Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble, so this prediction kind of could crumble like my last one. But I think CM Punk is the right play here, but could see a wild card. That's what makes the WWE so entertaining. But I do think it is going to be the best ever do it. Give me CM Punk. Don't have odds, but love CM Punk.
Yeah,
let's go to the women's elimination. Might as well. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Roxanne. Who you like?
Rox. Roxanne Perez is a wild card. But I don't think that they're going to give her the elimination chamber just yet. You know what I mean? Naomi, I do think, is out, even though her comeback tour has been fun. Alexa Bliss could be a dark horse in it, to win, but I don't necessarily see how she can get involved that quickly, right? Bayley, I don't see a rivalry besides still with maybe Io Sky or something. It's going to be outside of the title picture, I think, currently. So who does that leave us with, right? That leaves us with Bianca Belair, who's just, a superstar, and Liv Morgan, who does have the storyline. I think that, Bianca Belair should be the choice. In my opinion, I think she's an absolute superstar. And I think that if you put her in any type of championship, I think it will sell. And then who's to say that if she does become champion, which, is a far stretch on a storyline, that Jade Cargill come back challenging her, and that could reignite maybe some crazy storyline between the two of them. But I don't see the WWE going that direction. I see Liv Morgan winning her second elimination chamber. I think she's won one already in the past, and she'll go after Rhea Ripley again. So it's a continuation of a storyline that may have gotten a little old, but I just think that that's what they're left with the other championship kind of taken up at the moment.
I really was going to go with Alexa Bliss. I really was.
I was tempted. I was really tempted.
Bayley doesn't have any momentum. I think Perez is still being built to the point where she would get to the big spot.
Especially the win she's had.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't see it with
I didn't see it with Naomi. I didn't see it with Liv Morgan.
I could see that how you don't see it with her, but the storyline is there.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna
the easy.
Yeah, and I feel like Bliss, I think she has a solid chance. I think if you want to take a dark horse, it should be Alexa Bliss, because she did just return from injury, and I think fans would be excited for her and see, a new face, and for her to gun at the top once again. She was just there. But I am going to go with the EST. Bianca
I love
Belair.
I like it.
She did lose her WWE Tag Team Championship, and I think that could be a sign to the promotion, kind of preparing her for another singles run. There aren't, like I said, I just feel like there aren't really a lot of compelling single stars right now. And Belair is one of the most accomplished in history. Belair versus Ripley is something the fans have been waiting for, and they've never had a singles match against one another on the main roster. I think that's very intriguing to the company. So she's undefeated at WrestleMania as well. Bianca Belair. Give me Bianca. I think she goes.
I like that pick. That would have been my pick. Like we said, I think we're kind of seeing it eye to eye with Alexa Bliss, kind of being a wild card, being the dark horse, excuse me. And Liv Morgan's the easy way out. So I took the easy way out on that one. But I would like Bianca Belair to get the chance.
Yeah, I think it would be good. All right, let's go to Let's go to Seth Rollins. Oh, not Seth Rollins. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what you're going with. What do you got, kid?
I'm going with KO. I think it's kind of like Sammy's like, whoa, where are you coming with this? But it's like
great story, though.
Yeah, they always have like the built in, to be like the closest of friends and the bitterest of rivals, right? So I just think, KO calling for it more. I guess be careful what you ask for, right? With Sami Zayn getting the unsanctioned match, and also like asking for it. It's like, hey, I'll take the match, but the WWE only saying would only, grant you the match if it's an unsanctioned one. So that to me gives KO a little bit of a favor. I think that gives him an advantage, and an unsanctioned match opens up more where he's a more hardcore guy. He can utilize tools and weapons. Sami Zayn coming out victorious would be due just to heart, but you see that heart kind of show out in the biggest of moments. And yes, Elimination Chamber can be a big pay-per-view, but I just don't think it's that time for Sami to come out victorious. I think this rivalry build up to WrestleMania where Sami could actually win. So KO for now in the Elimination Chamber unsanctioned match.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kevin Owens as well here. I mean, there are a few pairings as reliable as these two. I mean, great story. There's no reason WWE should, would have moved any off of either of them. And Zayn, he's always better on the chase as kind of the great baby face that he is. And, Owens being a man willing to go a little too far to get a victory in an unsanctioned environment. I mean, I think this one was kind of easy for us as well. Yeah, I'm going to go Kevin Owens here in an unsanctioned match. And then lastly, let's go to, what is it? Just a
women's tag team.
Yeah, women's tag team. We got Trish Stratus coming back in her home country with Tiffany Stratton against
Tiff and Trish. It's Tiff and Trish.
Tiff and Stratton. I would say that 5 times fast.
Brother, you are a little right now.
And then Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. We're going with Trish and Tiff, right?
100%. Yeah. There's no way you don't let Trish Stratus win in her backyard, which is arguably the last time they'll ever get to see her. I think she came out on social media saying that this will be like her last performance in front of her hometown, So we may see more of Trish leading up to WrestleMania, but, it's like kind of a low-key retirement tour for her. And Tiffany Stratton's on top of the world right now. So that pairing, basically Trish Stratus handing the torch over to Tiffany Stratton being the star that she is. So, yeah, Tiff and Trish is my pick.
Yeah, going with Stratton as well. Stratton in status.
Here's the thing: they don't pin Nia Jax. Obviously, Candice LeRae takes the pin.
Yeah, of course. They
gotta protect it.
That was easy, that one. But that's it, kid. Anything else that we missed before we get to some news?
I mean, there's SmackDown tonight, right?
Yeah.
And there could be maybe a match made or some fallout from it, but
probably not.
Probably not. Just a couple things to watch tonight. And I mean, that's it. Really.
That's it. All right. Let's get to some news. Obviously, the big one, Dan Hooker out, UFC 313 of co-main event against us, Justin Gaethje. But we do get the rematch. Justin Gaethje will take on Rafael Fiziev. Instead of 5 rounds, it will be 3 rounds, but we haven't seen him in a year and a half. This one was razor close thin. A lot of people thought Rafael Fiziev, me included, won the first fight between him. The 10-8 third round definitely was not a 10-8, and he was up on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Love it. I love the matchup as well, and I know a lot of people are unhappy, but did they forget? I think people just forgot how good this first fight was.
Yeah, no, it was a great fight, but, seeing like a fall through of some of these fights like back in the day would have like hurt me a lot more than it does now. Maybe that's just due to where they are in their careers, It's unfortunate to feel the way I do currently, because I'm not too concerned, right? Like the match fell through and I was like, all right. Well, I kind of didn't
I'm like used to it at this point.
Yeah, I'm like used to it at this point now. So yeah, UFC, you've done it. You've numbed me out. I don't feel anything anymore. But yeah, no, I think Rafael Fiziev is, coming back after a long hiatus, and Justin Gaethje going to be in an absolute killer of a camp. I don't see how you can fade Justin Gaethje in a spot. I think it's going to be kind of like a Tony Ferguson type situation. I think he's going to hurt Fiziev bad again. So, yeah, Justin Gaethje's the right side, but
he's the underdog.
I just think that it's just because it's the part of the career that he's at. I think it's free money to take Justin Gaethje right now. Go ahead and take him, I would say, as a dog price.
We got a great fight in UFC Mexico, March 29th. Elvis Brenner is out. Daniel Zellhuber steps in, and he will take on Austin Hubbard March 29th. I think that's going to be a barn burner, kid.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber.
Yeah,
I think this is a great fight for him to get a last-minute replacement. Great fight for him to showcase his skills. I don't expect much from Austin Hubbard, to be honest with you. Granted, he's the one that came in on the fight camp, but, every time he comes out, you may expect something from him. And this is his third chance in the UFC.
Yeah.
Right. Fool me once. We say that time and time again. I think this is a situation for Austin Hubbard for that. And I would be leaning and probably taking a play for Daniel Zellhuber.
GM3 is back, and he will take on Brad Tavares, UFC Vegas 105, April 5th. That's a very fun fight.
Yeah, two OGs, mixing it up. Brad Tavares, durable. GM3, I think his skills get underrated at times because we've seen him do the stand-up. We've seen him get submissions, right? So, oh, man. Brad Tavares is a hard dude to finish, though, right? He went the distance with DDP. Even though he got beat up a little bit, I just think that even in the late part of his career, he is very durable. So maybe that's a fight that even though the over or the fight going to the judges is going to be maybe chalky, that's probably the way to go. I don't necessarily think that these older guys are going to get in there and be bloodthirsty to get a finish. I think this could cruise out to a judge's score.
I forgot to mention on UFC 314, April 12th in Miami, Lord Silva, he said, hey, I need you, Bryce Mitchell. I'll give you a whooping.
Flat earth lesson.
Yeah. And, Bryce Mitchell coming out on Twitter saying you need a lesson. There's only one Lord. You need a country whoop ass. And so obviously Juan Silva is a major favorite, minus 400. I don't think he should be that big of a favorite because he does have to deal with the grappling.
We saw him get absolutely viciously knocked out by Josh Emmett, and I think that's what people are going to expect out of Lord Silva. But look at the times he's gotten into some grappling exchanges. Bryce Mitchell is a savant when it comes to the grappling ordeals. Man, I think Bryce Mitchell might be worth a sprinkle at that dog of a price, man. Being in that position, fighting that high level of competition prior, and this now being the introduction to Lord Silva in the top 10. Man, I think I might go out and just put the play out for Bryce Mitchell, even though I like Lord Silva a lot. The dude's a freak. But, man, like I said, all it takes is one time to get taken down, and Bryce Mitchell has your back, or he has a leg lock, or he has a twist, or he has something that we haven't seen before. He surprises time and time again. I'd go and play the 4+400 for Bryce Mitchell.
Said, imagine Bryce Mitchell crucifixes Lord Silva.
Only the sort of world could
make this shit undefeated. But we do have a main event. April 26th in the beautiful Kansas City area, Jamal Hill will take on Khalil Roundtree Jr. in a light heavyweight bout. 5-round main event, number 4 against number 7. Love that. Yeah. You also got in the light heavyweight co-main event retirement fight for Anthony Smith in his hometown against Zhang Mingyang. You got Giga Jacasey against David Onama. Michel Pereira against Abus Magomed. And Ikram Aliskerov taking on Andre Muniz. That is your main card.
All right, you got to work back with me. You said Ikram and Andre Muniz. I think, the submission on the table for Muniz is always there. But I think Ikram might be the right side in that matchup. The next match, go ahead.
Michel Pereira and Abus
Magomed. I do like him, but that – both having a 1 round of cardio is maybe worrisome on both parties, but I think Michel Pereira might be the right side there. I do. I just, he's gotten some more notable wins, and Abus, when you back him, he'll choke. So yeah, I think Michel Pereira there. Keep going. Yeah,
and then we have Giga Jacasey and David Onama.
Yeah, David Onama will make that fight fun. You know, he may hurt Giga Chikadze, but then not close it. And then as you get into the second, third round, his cardio starts to fade, and Giga Chikadze maybe turned it on. So, yeah, I see a back and forth there in that fight. What was the co-main?
The retirement fight for Anthony Smith taking on Zhang.
Yeah, we talked about that, I'm pretty sure, and I didn't like that for Anthony Lionheart Smith. I think the Mountain Tiger is going to knock him out in his retirement fight. UFC did him no favors.
And thoughts on the main event, Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree?
I like that. We were all asking for that matchup, and someone's going to sleep there. So I'm pretty sure we'll have back-to-back knockouts in the co-main event over there.
Yeah, I love that. Also, shout out Des Moines, Iowa. We got Chito Vera taking on Mario Batista. Banger of a fight, I think.
You know who we'll see over there? Seth freaking Rollins. He'll probably be in attendance.
I can't wait. Do you like this fight, though?
Yeah, no, it will be an entertaining matchup.
What else? Oh, 315 got some fights added. I know they didn't
Any
really
word on
need
316? Who cares about 315?
No, I told you. Jose Aldo, Aman Zahabi, and Jessica Andrade taking on Jasmine Jazz Davicius.
Good test for Jazz Davicius, you know.
Big name for Zahabi.
Jose Aldo should be fighting for Ross. Let's get it straight. We shouldn't be fighting Ayman Zahabi. We should be fighting for Ross Zahabi. Come on now.
That's insane. Imagine. And then outside of that, oh my God, I'm burying the lead. UFC Qatar, May 17th, Sergey Spivak taking on Shamil Gazaev. But this is, I buried the lead. Biggest fight. Islam Nuradov taking on the Iron Turtle. Young Park is back, baby. We need him to main event.
Yo, the main event. You need a lot of call outs, my friend, for that to happen. But
he's the beast. UFC Qatar, though. You like that? May 17th.
I like it. Obviously, you can tell they're going to be favoring Bahrain's Gazaev. They're going to be favoring your boy, who you said, Israel, whatever, right? The guy who he is.
They should be favoring the Iron Turtle if they're smart.
Yeah, but, you know, he's got to travel all the way to Qatar. That might not be the most friendly of ordeals, as we see with Martin Bakole trying to get over there. So, yeah, who knows? They may be giving an advantage to their hometown fighters, which is fair play. So,
by the way, did you no more news for the UFC? Did you see the slap heard around the world between Chris Eubanks slapping Conor Benn with an egg?
Well,
multiple eggs.
It's a joke, I think, on that end, where that's more entertainment as compared to the Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Give credit to them where it's due, where their skills sell the fight. So we need more of that than we need.
I love it. This is going to be the biggest fight in England history.
Good for them.
You're not entertained.
Not interested. I don't give a fuck.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I had to drop the F-bomb there.
Yeah, you had.
No,
to.
I don't think they're good. I'll be real with you. I don't think they're that good. I think both of them are. You know, maybe I'll get my ass kicked for saying that if I said it to their face. But it's just let me see them get past this fight and fight the level of competition and prove me wrong. That's what I want to see. If I'm going to say anything, it's going to be my words are coming out as motivation for you to set the record straight on your career and yourself as a fighter. Otherwise, you're just proving me right. So.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it.
Shut me
All
up.
right. 10 seconds left. So we got a catch weight grappling match between Caio Borralho and Brandon Allen. Karate Combat 53 this Friday. So tonight. And we have Caio Borralho minus 280 against Brandon Allen. I know Brandon Allen is a grappling machine, but Caio Borralho fighting hurts.
I gotta take the plus money and Brandon Allen.
He's just coming off a loss, getting his ass beat. He's
via grappling.
Yeah, he's gonna get his ass beat again. Give me Caio Borralho, a little heavy favorite, but maybe add him in a little parlay. But I do like Caio Borralho here in a grappling match between Brandon Allen. Any thoughts on this one? I
hate to do it to you, Brandon Allen via decision.
Oh wow! All right, kid. Any big plans for you this weekend, or are we locked in?
I'll try to be locked in while I'm at the AT Park watching a concert. So
let's fucking go. Who you seeing?
It's just a local thing. Fucking the Lax. I don't even know if you ever heard of it. There you go.
I'm just fucking with you. But all right, kid. Good luck. Enjoy the fights. Peace.